Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. I built multiple medical companies, and I'm here to share exactly how I did it. This isn't a podcast where I tell you you should do this. It's a podcast where I tell you what I did. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. So before I tell you how I scaled multiple medical companies, I should probably confess how I once leveraged the social media network known as Instagram to track down the woman who would later become my wife. Yes, this is a story of how I met Stephanie. And it's also the story of how I became a part-time private investigator with zero credentials. It all started at EOS Fitness in Palm Desert, California. I'm on the stair mill, headphones in, pretending to work out, but mostly just trying not to fall off, slowly trudging along. And then there she is. She walks out of a cycling class. Tiny, pink outfit, athletic, confident, the kind of girl who looks like she was born doing Pilates. She starts talking to her friend right next to me, and I'm pretending to turn down my music, but actually trying to eavesdrop like a creep. And I can't hear a damn thing. So later, I'm walking out of the gym, and there she is again with her friends. And all I can overhear is, I just want to find somebody who's really into the gym like me. And I swear, it was like God himself hit that pause button on my life. And I thought, well, here I am, Lord, reporting for duty. But I was too nervous to say anything. So I left like an idiot. And then I sat in my car thinking, I can't let this go. How do I find this girl? And that was when I had looked at Instagram. And I remember that Instagram had just recently introduced something called geotagging, where you could tag where you've been before, and it would show up at that location. So what did I do? I looked up everyone who tagged themselves at that gym. Like everyone. Scrolling, hundreds of posts later, boom, there she is. Same pink outfit, same gym, different day, Stephanie. And I'll admit it, the thrill I felt in that moment was equal parts romance and equal parts serial killer energy. I started going through her photos like a detective in a Netflix true crime documentary. Because back then, there was no such thing as private Instagram profiles. So I noticed, scrolling her photos, a mutual connection. A nurse at my hospital was in some of her elementary school photos. So I texted her, hey, do you know this girl? She said, yeah, we went to middle school together. I said, well, perfect. Do you know her still? She said, yeah, I have her phone number. I said, find out if she's single. Talk to her for me. Put in a good word. And she said, well, I think she has a boyfriend, but yeah, I'll do that for you. Meanwhile, I'm scrolling through her feed thinking, if I die tonight, this search history is going to ruin my legacy. I mean, it's not great when a doctor looks like he's doing digital reconnaissance on a random woman at the gym, but to my credit, this was pre-DM era. You couldn't just slide into somebody's messages like a normal stalker would. You had to work for it. You had to want it. There was an analogy, stalking equals manual labor. Anyways, the mutual friend says, well, I think she has a boyfriend. But apparently, she mentioned me because the next thing I know, Stephanie comments on one of my posts. I'd uploaded a bodybuilding picture and she wrote something about the gross sauce I was using to lose weight. It was flirty, a little sarcastic, and it was love at first protein shake. So I started liking her photos as well. She clicked my profile and later she admitted she saw Puerto Rican Italian doctor. And back then, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I was a thirst trap. Absolutely ripped, six-pack abs, bodybuilder, 5% body fat. I was looking for a wife and I was sexy as hell. And she's like, okay, not bad, Spanish, that's nice, and he's not a loser, which honestly is the most romantic compliment I've ever received from her. Now, I know what you're thinking. Alex, that sounds like the opening scene of a Lifetime movie where the husband eventually turns out to be the villain. I get it. But look, every stalker thinks that they're the hero until it works out. And for me, it actually worked out. She followed me back and we started talking. We ended up going on a date, and years later, she married me. So technically, that's what I call a successful acquisition strategy. Now, here's what I learned from the whole experience. Persistence is underrated. And no, I don't mean obsessive. I have your IP address. I keep showing up when you don't want me to show up. Persistence. I mean the kind where you decide, this is what I want. I'm going to find a way. Because most people quit too soon. They walk out of the gym They overhear an opportunity, they drive away, and they convince themselves that the timing wasn't right or it wasn't meant to be. Meanwhile, someone else is scrolling through the possibilities, connecting the dots, and doing the unglamorous work that it takes to make miracles happen. If you want something, whether it's a woman, business, more from your career, a dream you have, you'd better be willing to hunt it down ethically, but relentlessly. Because opportunity doesn't wave you over. It hides in the crowd and it waits to see how bad you want it. There's a fine line between being creepy and being committed. And that line is results. If you don't get the girl, you're a stalker. If you marry her, you're a romantic. If your cold outreach flops, you're spam. If it converts, you're a marketing genius. If your persistence annoys people, you're too much. If it changes your life, you're driven. Same behavior, the only difference is the outcome. And the main difference in the outcome is going to be whether you actually follow through. So yeah, I stalked my wife. I'd do it again because every dream worth chasing starts with obsession. You just have to aim it at something noble. In my case, that something noble was Stephanie. So next time you hesitate to make the call, send the pitch, launch the campaign, remember this. There's someone out there getting what you want. Not because they're better, no, but because they're willing to look a little crazy in pursuit of it. And if you do it right, you won't just win the client or the company or the girl or guy of your dreams, you'll win the life that all those small acts of bravery made possible. So yeah, the police were right. Every breath you take, every move you make, I was watching her. I was obsessed. I am obsessed. And that's the point. That's why we're married, living in the home of our dreams with our 4 beautiful children and me working in my home office, building my businesses to 7, 8, and even 9 figures. And the reality is our journey together is just beginning. But the bottom line is this. The thing I want to leave you with is this. You can't just pursue success. You have to stalk it.